Shauna Martin, welcome.
Hey, thanks for being here.
I'm very happy to be here. In fact, this is kind of a big deal for me because this is the 8th chapter of this project of mine, and this is the first time that I'm shooting in a location other than the Ardest Gallery. Shout out to Julie, by the way, where you can find Shauna's work, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Find Shauna's work there. But tell us a little bit, Shauna, about where we are right now.
So we are in Studio 114 at the Silos at Sawyer Yards.
Cool.
Yeah.
And how long have you had a studio here?
This is new for me. I've never had a studio before. I just started in May, actually. Moved in May, and it's been a dream.
Cool.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
So what is it about having your own place, and a place as wild and well known as the Silos here in Sawyer Yards? What has that experience been like for you?
Yeah, the vibe here is, I'm surrounded by like-minded people that love art. And so the vibe here, the energy here is just really, really great. Everybody's been super welcoming. And, but not only that, it's meeting so many different types of people that come here specifically for the art experience. And I've gotten to meet some really, really great people.
Right, yeah. So they have special days, second Saturday, third Saturdays, open studios, right?
All of Sawyer Yards has second Saturdays where we are open to the public. So all of the studios open their doors, and it's open to the public. Anyone can come in, ask the artist questions about their work, and of course buy the work, support the local artists. And that goes on all of Sawyer Yards on the second Saturdays. But on the third Saturdays, the Silos continues that. So it's from noon to 5 on both of those days.
And it's just the Silos studios, because there's several different. This is actually a very large complex, the Sawyer Yards complex. There's Sabine Street, Winter Street,
Silver Street,
Silver Street, the Silos, which are the coolest, of course.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot going on. So you're saying that on the third Saturday of the month, it's just the
Silos is open, yeah.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Cool. So if people are interested in seeing your work, they can just pop in, say hi. What are the hours again?
Noon to 5.
Noon to 5. Cool.
Mm-hmm. And then we also have special events, so that will also, push back our hours as well.
Okay.
Like recently, last Saturday, we had Santa Claus. He was here for, the Christmas season. So we have events happening almost every month. So definitely follow on Instagram or Facebook and keep up with the events.
Cool. So having your own studio here, you get a lot more foot traffic?
Absolutely. Right? Yeah, it's been really great. It's been very humbling to see the business part of the art grow that way. Not only is my artwork as an artist expanding, and I feel like I'm able to push myself a little bit more because I've got this creative space now. But business-wise, it's been really, really great to see that growth and see the community, actually taking to my work.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, the way you've arranged things is very nice. It's very Shauna. I've been following your work for a couple of years now. We know each other from Julie at the Ardest Gallery in the Woodlands, again, where you can get her work too. And let's talk about that a little bit, because you are kind of a well-known person around the Houston area. I'm going to toot your horn a little bit. You're one of the 50 Artists of Houston in Volume 2. That was a big thing that came out earlier in the year, in the fall, right?
Yes, that was beautiful.
So tell us a little bit about that. What was that publication for, and how did you come about that?
Yeah, so there's 50. So this is actually the second volume of this book. And it's from Taft McWhorter and his wife Dana. They are fully backing it, and they've picked 50 artists in Houston. And it's not necessarily beginning artists or well-established artists. It's a good mix of everything in between, and tons of different types of artists. So it was very humbling again to be a part of something that big.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a cool event to see your work and your photographs there published in a book. In fact, you have quite a resume. I went over your website and saw your portfolio, and you have a lot of a stacked education too in the arts.
Yeah. So I grew up my mother was an artist, so I've always been in art. And my mother was also an educator, not in public schools, but she would teach art on her own. So it was just natural for me to, dive into that path. I went to college for photography and then got my teaching certification. So I've been in public schools for 15 years, teaching art and middle school and high school level, currently at the high school level. And I just love education. It's definitely a passion of mine. And now that I work with this medium that not a lot of people are familiar with, it's really nice to get to show it to everyone,
right?
Because there's so many questions about it.
Yeah, well, I got a
it's
bunch
not a
of
well-known, medium.
So let's talk about it, because you're an encaustic wax artist. That's your medium that you've been using since I've known you, anyway. Tell us, what is encaustic, first of all? How would you define that?
So encaustic is actually an ancient medium, but not a lot of people have heard of it. It was never really well known in the West, more so in the East. So it's made of beeswax and damar resin. So we've got beeswax that's been refined, and it's just chopped up into these little pellets so that it melts faster. And then we have damar resin. So the damar resin is introduced, it's a tree sap, and it's introduced because what it does, the melting point of beeswax is around 90 degrees.
Okay.
But as soon as you add the damar resin, that increases the melting point to about 200 degrees, depending on the ratio that of a damar resin that you introduce to it. So not only does it increase the melting point, it helps with the dexterity of the medium, the integrity rather, but it also allows you to where you can buff the work. So all of the encaustic works can actually be buffed to a high gloss shine because of the damar resin. Yeah. Which is a really interesting characteristic of the medium.
So that's what gives it the after shine too. Okay. And exactly. I remember I've heard you tell people who purchase your work, make sure you give it a little rub down every once in a while.
Yeah,
right?
And it's by choice. So, I mean, for me personally, there are some works that I don't buff to a high gloss shine, or some pieces that I only buff certain sections to. But once you own it and it's on your wall, it's up to you if you want it to be glossy or matte. Okay,
cool. Well, I want to talk a little bit about how you work, but first of all, let's talk about the work itself, because your work, I would categorize as abstracts. Am I correct in that? Right?
Yeah.
And this has kind of been a theme lately with people I've been sitting down talking to, and maybe it's just because this is the sort of thing that I'm into. But artwork that makes me stop and look at it and kind of come up with all kinds of stories in my head about what it is. We've had discussions before about, do you tell the viewer what it is? Do you let them decide what it is on their own? I like to figure things out. I try to figure out a story of my own before I hear the artist's take on it, but it can go either way. With your pieces, I feel like I'm kind of drawn in and I'm asked to wonder. It's kind of like a dream. In fact, I'm not 100% sure. It's not super clear. It's a little fuzzy maybe, but then there's an invitation to make up a story about it, right? Yeah. So is my characterization something you would agree with?
Wholeheartedly embrace. Yes.
Okay.
I like that it's cloudy and that because it would mean something to a different person. I think it's kind of like Rothko. Rothko is one of I've always been a big fan of Rothko, and so with his work, it's to me specifically like with the Rothko Chapel. If you stand in front of those paintings or sit and be still in front of those paintings, it depends on who you are that day, depends on what you see and what you feel and experience. And so with my work, nothing like Rothko, but
that's what you say. Yeah. We'll get to that in a second, but go ahead.
The idea is when you sit in front of them or when you see them, it's just about the viewer at that point. So once I make a work and put it on the wall, it's no longer mine. It doesn't feel like mine anymore. It's now the viewer, and whatever they see goes and is correct. There is no right or wrong.
Yeah. I feel like the sky's the limit really with the type of work. I mean, you use a lot of line and shape and geometry. There seems to be a geometric essence to it. And there's many layers, right?
Yeah.
There's always lots of layers to your pieces. And so speak to that. What is the process like? We'll show some pictures here while we're talking over this of some of your work so people get an idea.
Yeah.
But and we'll get back to Rothko a little bit later.
Okay.
Because this has been a topic we've discussed before, so
Yeah.
I want to get your take a little deeper on that a little later. But tell us what the process is for you in terms of creating your pieces.
Ooh, there's
hard to answer.
It is because it changes.
Okay. Well, speak to that. How does it change?
So if I can get a little deep right now.
Please do. We got plenty of time. Yeah.
Okay.
Tell us.
So I lost my mother. My mother passed away 2 years ago, and my sister, my older sister, just passed away last month. So or a month and a half now. So currently the work that I'm doing it's about healing for me. It was last week, I just received this, I call it a download of all of these ideas. And because before I was just kind of complacent and going through the healing process, you know, but all of a sudden I got this download and I've been making like crazy, just arting. And so I have a new series going on currently right now, and it's just flowing so much. And that's what you see around the gallery or around the studio now.
Can I ask you about that real quick?
Yeah.
This downloading thing that I've heard other artists speak about. That. Where do you think that comes from? What do you think that is? I'm just curious.
So I consider myself to be a very spiritual person. I'm not religious, but I am very spiritual. So I do believe that it's God or a higher power or the universal consciousness, whatever you want to call it. Yes to all of that. That's where I feel it is, because I'm not, in this mourning process, I'm not just sitting there crying. I'm meditating and truly trying to heal and get through the grief process. And I understand it's a process and it looks different for everyone. And so in that I'm meditating and I'm really trying to connect. So I think I like to think that it's the universe speaking.
Well, I agree. I mean, I personally think that God is the ultimate creator, and we all have this ability to create things, or so that's as close as we get to that, and we're not even near that level, but I personally feel that way too. And so I'm just curious when I hear people say that, because it does, there's talk about the muse, right? I think the muse is that. I think the muse is that God speaking to us. And when it comes, It's like, oof, I got to stop. I got to write this down. How do you do it? How do you?
Oh gosh, yeah. In the middle of the night, writing things down or sketching.
Okay.
I have a pad and, a pencil and pad of paper by my bed. So I will get them in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then you show up, how often are you working? Or do you show up every day? Or do you have a certain time, a certain schedule to create?
I don't have a certain schedule because I also, because I am a teacher full time during the week. So really it's the weekends and the evenings. It just depends on life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on. So when you get the chance to work, you have this download. So I
do,
interrupted you there. Take it from there. Yeah.
Like just yesterday, for example, school ended for the winter break, and I was up here in the studio at 4 a.m.
Awesome. That's
So,
cool.
yeah,
How great that you can do that too.
Yes, but that's what's wonderful about this space. It's got a great vibe, and it's my sanctuary, if you will, of arting.
Okay.
So,
So you get an idea. How do you get that idea onto the canvas? Are you using wood, right? Wood
yes, we use wood with the encaustic because it's a sturdier substrate than using canvas, which is malleable and can move and flex. And you don't really want that with the hardness of the medium.
Right.
But yeah, so I get the ideas. And
do you sketch things out on the wood, or how you put a layer down, then what do you do?
Thank you.
Tools? Because I have no idea how you do any of it.
Gotcha.
That's one of the things that I love about, and I've told other people this, I'm really drawn to art that I can't figure out, that I don't know how you did it or where it came from. Yeah, I mean, traditional stuff, I know how you sketched it and you painted it, you know, to look like a real thing, but a lot of the stuff that you do, I have no idea. So.
Okay, yeah, thank you for redirecting that. I sometimes work from sketches. So if I'm not able to be in the studio at a time, but I've got these ideas flowing, then I will make tons and tons. I've got tons of journals, and I will just make tons and tons of sketches. And sometimes the work comes out exactly like it was in my head in the sketch, but oftentimes it's nothing like it, and I have to scrap the idea and go with something completely different. But with this download recently, I'm titling it the Mending Project, because it's dealing with sewing metaphors and patching, you know, the holes of the soul when you've lost people. But yeah, when it comes to that, it's just pouring out. So if it's a download, it just pours out. If it's something where I'm really sketching and really trying and focusing, then it comes differently. Okay,
and are you married to a certain idea, or do you let things evolve and change? I mean, a lot of artists, you have to, right?
You have to, yeah. Because I'll even, if I finish a work, I'll leave it in my house or in the studio for months just to live with it and just to, is it done? Is it done? Does it need something?
Right.
Months. Like the one that's behind you, the flower, actually, it was at home for 3 months before I actually brought it up here.
Wow, so, that's cool.
Yeah.
That shows too that you're taking this stuff seriously. These, you know, not that you wouldn't otherwise, but you know.
It means something to me. It's a personal, as I think it is with most artists, it's a personal expression of you. So especially when you put it on the wall.
Right.
I mean, you hope that somebody resonates with it somewhere. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, in fact, that's a good opportunity. I want to get back to some of your process, but since we're here and you just mentioned it, I wanted to talk about the piece that I have of yours, and what drew me to it. So I came here in your studio, I don't know, several months ago, closer when you first moved in here, and I saw this piece was on this wall over here, and my eyes immediately went to it. I'm a new Christian. I've been a Christian for a couple of years now, and so Jesus is on my heart a lot. And so when I saw the crosses, I immediately was drawn to it. Yeah. And I saw the 3 here, and you know, that to me is Calvary, right? And then I saw this little one down here, and the Bible tells us that you have to die to yourself and pick up your cross, right? And so I was like, that's mine. Jeff. Yeah, that's mine. And so I had to have it, you know, because it just spoke to me, and I didn't ask you if that's what you meant by any of it. But that's what it meant to me.
It's beautiful.
And so later on, I looked at the back. It's called Uninhibited Grid, number 821. It's a good number.
It is a good number, actually.
So that spoke to me, and that's how I used to work for a Chinese art dealer many years ago, antiquities dealer, and he used to tell me that if something speaks to you and you can afford it, make it yours, because you never know when you're going to have that chance again. You might never have the chance to get that. So I try to do that. I also want to help support people that I like and enjoy their company, and I think supporting local artists is a big deal. So anyway, I'm looking at this. I have no idea how you made that. That's another thing that I love about your work, is I look at it and I'm just clueless as to what it is. I mean, I know it's encaustic wax, but can you explain to a layman here? Is this paint?
Sure. So
what's going on? I don't know.
What's beautiful about encaustic is that it's all about layering. So if you have an idea of your end results, then you have to kind of work backwards or background to foreground. And so with this, with this, it's all about textures. So typically what I do is I like to create the background first with the textures. So it's just filling in these interesting little bubbles that will form these little crevices, and that's naturally occurring with the wax and when it's heated. Okay. And so what I do is I like to embrace all of those little imperfections,
That's us.
Yeah, I love them.
That's
so
me.
I push pigment, oil pigment, into those little crevices, and then wipe the top surface clean, so that it's just those little crevices or imperfections that show up, and then.
And it gives it. Sorry to interrupt you, but it gives it to me. It gives it this like old world like look, like it's been around for a long time. You know.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And I love the textures that encaustic can lend, and then the layer. So once you embrace those imperfections, then you fire it to fuse that oil, and then you go on it with another layer of wax on top of that, and then you just keep layering and layering until your final. Until
it looks like it came from 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. Awesome. Well, since we were on that too, tell me I like how you name your pieces in ways that let the viewer kind of create his or her own story about it. Is that on purpose, or am I just...
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I have been specific in some of my works, but I think I still kind of struggle with titles, to be quite honest. It's something that I think a lot of artists have to hurdle, but I do want to leave it open, and like the uninhibited grid. I mean, there's a purpose for the series for me personally. That was started in December of 2024, and you know that has a personal purpose for me as to why I uninhibitedly, unabashedly started making art. I didn't care if the horizon line was straight or on plumb. I didn't care if the circles were centered, or I just maked for the sake of making marks.
Okay.
And I just allowed all of this to flow.
Yeah.
So it was something that I started in December of 2024.
Okay.
So that's part of the Uninhibited series.
That's cool. And look what it created. I mean, there's a lot of really good works in that series. So.
Thank you so much. Yeah, there's a lot of, and they're all 8x8, so that's the same size, and there's a lot of them.
Cool. And those marks draw people in too, because they're, you know, obviously these ones, to me, they were crosses, and whether you meant that to or not, like, it
not
just
originally,
pulled me in,
but when it came, I embraced it, absolutely.
That's cool.
Yeah, it wasn't deliberate.
Right.
But when it happened,
just going with the flow.
it was supposed to happen. Now, I believe that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
So I think going with the flow, exactly. I think that it was supposed to happen in that way.
And if you're being uninhibited, I mean, hey, that's the way to go. All right.
So yeah, in terms of the titles, I do like to. It's abstract, right? So it's all about asking you, or not really asking you, but provoking you to just give it a thought. So how do you feel about it emotionally? And if I title it, well, then that's going to point you in a certain direction.
Right.
So I don't necessarily, so the Uninhibited Grid, it just got uninhibited and numbered. But other works, if I want to push you maybe into an emotional state that I was feeling, which are typically, I don't want to say happy, but typically enlightening or awakening, or something that's going to, I don't know.
Intentional. Right?
Yeah, it's intentionally, but it's, the idea is my goal, my ultimate goal as a humanoid on this planet is to just raise the vibration of of those around me. And so I truly do hope, and that's why I make art, honestly. I put like blessings into them, or just feelings, you know, energy, because that's what I think all of us are made up of, is it's all frequency, it's all energy. So when I'm making with that intention of lifting you up.
That's cool, and it reads. I mean, I definitely feel it. I feel it when I look at your work.
That means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, that it is intentional, and that there's emotion behind it, and again, it just gets the viewer to stop and be present, which is
very well
important.
said. Yes.
Right. Cool. Well, a little bit ago you mentioned Rothko, and we've talked about this before, and you said you weren't on his level, and I beg to differ. I think I've had this discussion with many friends of mine, because with Rothko you're either love him or you don't get it at all.
Right.
And I'm kind of in the don't get it at all camp.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Because, you know, at least the late stuff, the color series stuff, the stuff he was doing in the 60s, I don't get it. Your stuff, I get that there's intentional mark making, there's technique, there's like an education there. And I know he was educated too, but
yeah.
I don't see it in the color field images. And I will just add a caveat to this. I had the good fortune of going on a tour of the Menil recently, a couple months ago, and I got a backstage tour. I got to go into the restoration area and see how they restore these pieces. And while I was there, I stood right next to a big, huge Rothko that they were restoring, and I got to examine every part of it. I looked at the back of it. I got right up on top of it, and I was not impressed. I was like, okay, like, you know, I know I'm going to hurt a lot of people's feelings. I'm just being honest. I just don't get it. It just. Well,
that's what art is all about. I mean, it doesn't have to play for everyone. It doesn't have to work for everyone.
Yeah. And I will say I have not been in the chapel yet. That's on my to-do list.
You haven't been to the Rothko Chapel in Houston, Texas.
I know, I haven't yet. I just haven't had a chance to do it. I want to be deliberate about that and do it. But I want to make sure I have some time because that's the thing, right? You need to sit there for a while.
Yeah, give yourself space, yeah.
And what I feel, at least in the conversations that I've had with people who have been there and have had those emotional experiences, I wonder if it's not the paintings that does it, but it's just sitting still for 20, 30 minutes. That's what, because when you do that, you don't have to be in front of a big blue wall.
Absolutely.
You know, so that's, help me understand Rothko. What do you see in those works that moves you so much? Because I am curious and I do want to know. Well,
okay, so you might have to remind me about the Rothko Chapel, but going back to the color fields, it's all about, I mean, color has theory behind it. It has school, it has rules, it has laws. And when you check into those laws and those rules, and then you stand in front of a canvas that's, you know, your size, it's almost like you're in the room of this color field. And therefore, emotion does take over. But it's not just emotion; it's psychology too. Because if you were sat in a room of just red, you're going to feel anybody will feel something from that. And so I think with the scale that he's working with, and you know, it's you're standing in front of it, but you're being consumed by it. At least that's the way it is for me. And then in terms of the chapel, these huge pieces that again you can stand in front of and get consumed. But here's the thing: is that the chapel was specifically designed to house these pieces, and it was specifically designed with the lighting to allow lighting to come in. So different times of day, it's going to have different lighting as well. So different moods, right?
Okay.
And then there's benches so you can sit and be, you know, contemplate or just be. And yes, I agree. Could it just be that you're just sitting there? Because a lot of humans these days, we're just busy.
They
right?
can do that.
Just do, go,
just
go.
Constantly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a brilliant point that you bring up. But I still think kudos to Rothko because this was the vision, you know, building a place where someone can go to be still. I think that's beautiful. Okay. So, and he's just offering these cool as in like cool theory colored paintings as the backdrop.
Yeah, because his early stuff is actually the opposite. It's oranges and reds and yellows. It's really different feel. And I recall him saying that they are all meant for you to stand 18 inches in front of. So you're not supposed to be from back like most artwork. You're supposed to be right on top of it to feel like you're in it. And I understand that, but why not just paint a room blue? And I don't feel, for me, the technique, I don't see like any artistic, I don't see, other than enveloping your vision with a certain color, I don't see like a breakthrough as an artist.
But my argument for that would be that it's not just he didn't just take paint straight from the tube, and slather it onto a canvas and call it done.
Which people do. Sorry.
They do, and that would be a different conversation, right? But no, there's layering happening, and there's these transparent colors that come through also on some of his works, and especially as well as in the Rothko Chapel, there's a transparency and these layers and layers of different sheens and different colors, and so you start to see different things depending on the state of mind that you're at in that moment.
Yeah, I've heard that he used certain mediums along with the oil. His later stuff he went to acrylics, but he was really working in oils mostly. But he used certain primers and different things to get certain sheens on certain layers.
Yeah, and a translucency there. So which I love in my work, because with the medium, with the encaustic medium, you can create that that layering effect of barely seeing something that was planned 7 layers ago or something.
Yeah, the light, or like those crosses in the one.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so all right, so you've given a good argument for him. How about we do this again sometime after I've seen,
right?
And then I'll give
there
you
we go. There we go.
My take on that. Right on. Okay, that's cool. So going back to your resume, right? As artists, we're all forced to write artist statements, right? And that's one of my least favorite things to do. I don't know about yourself, but I just feel really weird talking about myself.
Sure.
But reading yours kind of intrigued me, because there's some things in here that I don't quite understand, and I was hoping maybe you could explain to all of us.
Okay.
So one of the things I highlighted from your artist statement is inspired by the interplay of nature, philosophy, and science, particularly metaphysics and epigenetics. Shauna's work evokes a darker contemplative aesthetic. Totally on board with the darker contemplative aesthetic. The nature, philosophy, science, I feel all of that. Again, like I'm looking at this piece right here with the gridded lines and the circles. I love the geometry. So this science, math kind of portion, but then there's also the ethereal, philosophical nature. You're using a lot of earth tones in your work. So I definitely feel that, but I'm kind of an idiot. I don't know what metaphysics and epigenetics are.
Yeah.
Can you explain those things and how they work into your vision?
Yeah, absolutely. So the metaphysics really, it interplays with the philosophy. So it's the idea of, it's about being open to the weird, open to possibilities, open to esoteric teachings, not just the ones that are, mass produced and pumped out in the news media for everyone to see, but it's diving a little deeper, or really ultimately it's about questioning why, or just questioning everything.
Okay.
I think that was probably the best lesson that I've learned, whilst living this amazing life as a humanoid here on this planet, is
questioning
to question everything. Yeah, and so it's the philosophies, the questioning everything, and the spiritual aspects that fall into form. What I love is that even things that seem, how should I say, even things that seem not of this world can still be proven through materialism, through science, like quantum physics. I love
dark matter.
Absolutely, yeah. I love I love hearing about, quantum physics. I love hearing about how something that happens here is actually also affecting something that's happening, 10 miles from me, or a country away, because it's all energy. So in terms of bringing all of that into my work, it's really the feeling, and that's why I stick to abstract. I'm not a realist painter or anything like that. I love that work. It's just what comes out of me is what's going on in my head, and so most of the time what's going on in my head is questioning everything, questioning reality. And where do we draw that line? I mentioned again that I'm a very spiritual person, so I feel that I still have a connection to those that have passed on. You know, I don't believe that they're gone. And I believe that we are still able to talk with them, even though we don't necessarily get to hear their voice, but we get a feeling from them still. I just feel like we are all connected as human beings on this planet, and collectively, I think that we are capable of really amazing, beautiful things. And I think in 2020, for example, just to take this little sidebar here,
Yeah, please do.
in 2020, a lot of the world was shutting down or going isolating and all of. But to me, it brought me to tears because I saw it from a completely different perspective, which was I saw people were humaning. They were actually growing closer. You know, even though we were isolating, people were realizing, I don't want to do this job anymore. I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to go pursue my life. What makes
Lots
me
of
happy.
big changes happened during that, yeah.
Big, beautiful, positive changes happened during that time. So yeah, I think that we are all connected. I think that energy feeds off, and the more energy that we can put forward, then those people around us feel that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see that. I would say too, you talk about that you're not a realist painter in that regard, but I do see things in your works that are anchored in reality. You know, like I see this tree behind you. The tree I see behind you there. You know, like the crosses I saw before. We have some plant life here on the wall. So there is. I guess that's probably the connection to nature, right?
Yeah, nature, or materialism as a whole.
Okay.
So the idea is that only believe in what can be seen, the five senses, that can only be, seen, heard, felt. That's reality.
Gotcha.
So I think it's by using those that we can prove the other exists, and I think that's what quantum physics is doing. And yeah, so I like to bring in the nature. I like to bring in the real, the reality of things, but in a very contemplative, questioning type of ethereal kind of way.
Yeah, I love that word, ethereal. It makes you do this with your shoulders.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it is very dreamy to me. I feel like I'm
that.
in a dream when I'm looking at your work,
which
is cool. I like to be in dreams. In fact,
heck yeah.
I love dreaming. Sometimes I wake up, I'm like, yes, thank you, God, for giving me that
Do you keep a dream journal?
I used to, but they got so crazy that and when I would go back and read them, I didn't understand, and it's just better for me to leave it.
Yeah, you can learn a lot about yourself with dream journals.
That's what they say. I just learned that my
you just
brain,
learn you're weird.
Yeah, very weird.
Weird's good, man. Just embrace it.
Weird is good. I embrace it, but I do think, yeah, that's a cool. Like we don't know what dreaming is. There's some guesses, but it's just guesses. Really,
Right.
We have no idea. But when I see your work, I feel like I'm kind of in a dream. Or it also reminds me of. I told you I worked for this Chinese art dealer, and he dealt in antiquities, and it has this like ancient Chinese landscape feel, like on scrolls. You know what I'm talking about?
I do, yeah. I love that.
That look, because of the scrolls over time have browned. So you see this background, that color that's in a lot of your work. It gives me that feel because of the trees and the nature that's involved. It has that feeling for me.
Yeah, I love that. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So it takes me to different places, which is great. That's what you want your art to do, right?
I love it. Thank you.
Cool. So then my other big question is, what is epigenetics? What does that mean?
So epigenetics is actually, when I started college, I actually I started as a biomedical engineer major.
Oh, wow.
So I do love the sciences, and especially the medicals, but I wanted to work with genetics. But not in the form of altering or anything like that, which in the time, again, everything happens for a reason. There's a reason why I didn't go into that field, and but epigenetics is actually I say newer. I honestly don't know when it was when it was founded or coined or whatever the word would be here, I'd say 10, 15 years maybe, question mark. But it was not a thing when I was signing up for college.
Okay.
And only recently have I learned about it. But basically it's that, and I'm going to sum it up. Please do your own research.
Yeah, no pressure.
Question everything.
Question everything, yes.
But I'm going to sum it up as it applies to my art.
Yeah, please.
And the idea is that everything can be affected by the environment
Okay.
that it's in.
Okay.
So if you can think, if you were to take a child and raise them in a specific kind of environment of love and all of these things, then this child, cookie cutter, is going to turn out this kind of cookie cutter way. But if you were to take the same child with the same genetics and all of those things, the same makeup, and raise them in, a very wanting type of environment, void of love or interaction, socializing, and things like that, then they're going to turn out a completely different way.
Totally.
Now, the wonderful thing about that is that as humans, we get to choose. Once we get to a certain age, we're no longer victims of our environments. We get to make our own environments. And so when you make your own environment, you can change yourself. It's like the saying, change your mind, change your thoughts, and you can change the world.
Yeah,
you change
yeah.
your world, your reality. So the environment thing actually comes to the core of us. So we are trillions of cells. Trillions of cells.
Yeah, it's a big number.
Yeah. And when you look at, you zoom in and you zoom in and you zoom in microscopically. So we are made up of trillions of cells. And each one of those little cells has its own little environment that it's living in. And it's all about how you, as the operator of the vehicle, it's all about how you take care of that vehicle that allows that cell, that little bitty cell of trillions, to thrive, right? And so it's about zooming in and changing perspective, because once you start to think about your body as not this solid matter, because we actually aren't, right?
Right.
You zoom in hard enough, and you're going to see nothing but space. So, and again, that's where the energy comes from. And that's how I believe that we're all connected. So, in terms of the work, it's just one more way of questioning everything, changing your perspective on life, and I like to use that
Right on.
as a jumping off point for yet another abstract piece.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's pretty trippy. That's how I was.
Yeah, man. I love it. But yes, that's
it's cool.
But
yeah.
it's science. It's all material. Again, using materialism. So for those that don't believe, it's using your, those senses. It's using all of those measurable things to prove that maybe there's more to it than just what we can see, hear, feel, touch, and et cetera.
Okay. I can see that in your work for sure. Yeah. Again, questioning everything. That's the thing I'm going to take away today.
Beautiful.
And I'm going to question everything. Well, I always do anyway.
Yeah, good for you.
But
good
I mean,
on you.
when I see the artwork, that's what I mean. I'm like, what is that?
All right.
Let me think about this. Awesome. Well, Shauna, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for inviting me here to your studio. This is a really cool place. Before we go, I want to do some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Kind of get to know you a little bit better as an artist, as a human, or as a humanoid. As you call them. There's almost robots in some way. So these are quick either or answer questions, just kind of all over the place, just to get a gauge of who you are. There's no reason, you don't have to give us the reasons why you choose the things. That's part of the fun.
Okay, well, that's good.
Right? Okay. And we'll try not to judge you.
There's no judgment.
Okay, yeah. So the first one, speaking of in the terms of Fahrenheit, 30 degrees or 90 degrees?
Oh, 30.
30, okay.
Absolutely.
Right. You're in the wrong town.
I know.
Okay, green or orange?
Green.
Dance or sing?
Oh, dance.
All right. Okay, dance. Okay. Hot dog or hamburger?
Cylindrical meats.
All right.
Hot
Hot dog. Hey, there's something about a hot dog at a baseball game.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
It's pretty darn. That's American right there. Okay. Pencil or paintbrush?
Oh. That's a tough one. Yeah, I'm going to say pencil.
Pencil. Okay,
Rapid
there
fire,
you go.
right.
There you go. Plan or no plan?
Oh, I would love to say no plan, go with the flow, but no, I'm a planner.
Okay, right. Be honest. That's right. That's good. Sign the front or the back?
Oh, back.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah. Right on. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Up or down?
Always up.
All right. Morning or night?
Morning for sure.
Okay. Right on. Me too. Long walk or long drive?
Walk, please.
Long walk. All right. Again, I think the artists, we love that long walk.
Yeah, well, it's contemplative. We can do a lot.
Yeah. Benjamin Franklin, was it Benjamin Franklin talked about the long walk being the key to everything? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
Might have been him or Einstein.
I don't know.
I don't know. An older guy who's not here anymore. All right. Instagram or no Instagram?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would say no Instagram. The only reason I started Instagram back up again was for my art, for my business.
I know.
But personally, I'd say no Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to take breaks sometimes.
Yeah.
Right? People, places, or things?
People, places, or things? Places.
Places.
Yeah.
All right. Create with music or without music?
With.
With. Okay. And I like to ask people, what do you like to listen to?
Yeah.
Anything in particular?
I do all kinds of things, from Gregorian chant to
Go ahead.
to trap music.
Trap, all right.
I mean, really, it just depends. A lot of times, especially recently, and when you walked in, I think I had 1920s and 30s music going, so like the ink spots.
Yeah, I was going to say the vibe you had going on when I came in here today was really cool. It was like Billie Holiday sort of. I don't know if it was that.
Yes.
But it was like.
She was in there.
Yeah, it was very groovy and kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know, it fits your work.
It's good jams.
Cool. Sure. All right. Work large or work small?
I like the intimacy of the smaller works.
Cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not at the Rothko level yet.
No, not there yet. Especially with the medium.
With wax, that's going to be hard.
It's different, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And one more question here, last one. One painting at a time or many at a time?
Many at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I figure.
Especially if they have to live over there in that corner for a second.
Yeah. For months.
Anybody,
You better have lots going in the hopper. Okay, cool. Well, Shauna, I know, real quick, tell us about the workshops that you do and how people can find out about them, because we want to make sure people learn from you, because you do have workshops here in your studio.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, so you can find out about them. I do wax workshops if you're an artist, well-seasoned artist, or if you've never picked up a paintbrush or a pencil before. I do intro to wax workshops here in the studio, 114 at the Silos. And you can find those if you follow me on Instagram, you can find that information. But I ticket the events through Eventbrite currently, or on my website.
Cool. And we'll put the information here. Instagram is Art by Shauna Marie, and I'll have it spelled out here so people can see.
Beautiful.
And your website is shaunamarieart.com, right? People can sign up for your newsletter, find out about all your information. Please do that so you can find out about what Shauna's doing. If you're in Houston, come, or even if you're not, come to Houston. Go to the Silos.
It's the place to be art-wise. This is the place in Houston to be for art. That's true. So definitely come here.
That's true. All right, Shauna, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Let's do it again sometime. Yeah?
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Peace.